Yo, peace, light, abundance, manifestations, and gratitude. So a question was posed by one of our subscribers, and they asked, if I wanted to start a small garden in my backyard, what suggestions would you give on how to start one? Well, that is a great question. When starting a garden, the short answer is it depends. It depends on your growing zone. It depends on your microclimate. It depends on your plants and what you want to accomplish, what your goal is for your space. So for instance, if you didn't want to do a lot of bending and you didn't want to do a lot of the cultivation of the soil, if you didn't and you want to just get straight into planting, the easiest answer would be to start raised beds. If you have a backyard, you're going to grow anyways, whether it's shady or whether it's hot. So you can go straight into putting raised beds in your space. Now y'all see people coming over by the gas station playing this music, which is dope, play your music. But I'm trying to talk to the people. So we out here like an apartment complex, y'all. We all sharing the space on the earth right now. So it ain't gonna be completely silent while I'm talking to y'all. But the point is that when creating a backyard garden, putting some raised beds back there is an easy way to get started. And all you'll do is you'll get a 2x4s and you'll just get it popping. There's some pictures up here of some raised beds, some examples of what you can really do with it. What you want to do is you want to set the parameter of your growing space. What that means is deciding the square footage or the area that you want to use to grow. That will determine how many beds, and that will determine what can grow in what space. Once you decide your parameter, you determine whether or not you're going to cultivate the ground or whether or not you're going to use raised beds. Raised beds, one of the cons is that it's a little bit more expensive than cultivating into the earth. You have to purchase plywood, you have to purchase your nails, make sure you have all the tools, and you got to spend the time to create the beds. Probably one of the most expensive things might be the soil. You got to find a local supplier of nice garden soil, and you got to have that delivered, or you got to deliver it yourself to your garden space. So the pros is that you can get started right away, and that you don't necessarily have to worry about amending the soil, the pH balance and all of that when you're doing it. So that's the easy way to get started. Now, my preferred method is to cultivate straight into the ground. I've started raised bed gardens before, and it's pretty cool when you have the resources, but those resources also include time, and the time I'm using to build raised beds, I could be going straight into the ground. Not everyone has that permission. Not everyone owns their land. I don't even own this land. I have permission to cultivate it. I have permission to do what I want in terms of growing food. So I'm working the in-ground method for myself. Curtis Stonehill say, take your square footage and work straight into the ground. So and he does it in small scale. So when you're doing a backyard garden, how big is your backyard? Does it afford for you to grow and to cultivate into the ground? How many raised beds can you make? So deciding that parameter, deciding the area is highly important when starting a backyard garden. Another thing to do is, once your area and your parameter is decided and you know how many beds you can fit, you want to determine what kind of plants that you want in your space. Now, how do I determine what plants I want in my space, Kip? Easy. What do you want to eat? If you want food, then you know you're going to grow garden vegetables, primarily probably annuals. If you have a lot of space, you might have the opportunity to put perennial fruit trees. If you don't want to do a lot of work and you don't want to, if you don't want to do too much, then herbs might be the way to go. Herbs are really easy to propagate. They're really easy to take care of. So it all just depends. If you don't want to really eat and you just want it to be a meditative practice, try doing some flowers. Those are great to put in your backyard. So once you determine at least the type of plants that you want to cultivate, be it flowers, be it food, be it herbs, then you're going to determine specifically which type of herbs, which type of annual vegetables, and which type of flowers can you use. And that, my friends, is going to be determined by your microclimate. It's going to be determined by the south facing sun. It's going to be determined by the east, the north, and the west, by the shade, whether or not you have partial shade, whether or not you have full sun. I find that 6 to 8 hours of sunlight is pretty good for the average plant. No plant generally wants to get burnt out. Cactus and succulents are pretty cool in terms of their sun durability, but most plants, 6 to 8 hours is pretty cool. If you're getting less than that, then you might want to consider consider the herbs. You might want to consider what are the dynamics that you can use in your space. There are tons of shaded plants that you can grow. A lot of plants you can grow in the shade, and they just take a longer time. That's really the secret. It's not that they're not going to grow, they're just not going to grow as robust and abundantly as if they were in the sun right now. So that's the answer, y'all. Really, it depends. It depends on your desires and your growing factors. It depends on your parameter. It depends on what you want to eat, what you want to cultivate, and how hard you want to work. How much money do you have? Those are all different factors on how do I get started in my backyard. But generally, create that parameter, decide what do you want out of your backyard, and also find out what your backyard gives to you. So that, my friends, is how you start a backyard garden. If y'all have any more questions, make sure y'all write them in the comments below. I'll be sure to make a video and we'll discuss it and talk about it. If y'all have some input on how our friends can better start their backyard, anything that I had missing, y'all put that in there, and let's get talking. Let's share this knowledge with each other about how do we grow as a people, you know, as a community, as a society. How do we put gardens in our backyard and in our minds? Because it's all about flourishing. People talk about a green thumb, you know, but it's all about your heart at the end of the day, your openness and your willingness to learn. If you're open and willing to learn, you don't have to be an expert. You'll gain awareness over time, because that's what I'm doing right now. That's what we're doing with Smarter by Nature. So thank y'all for supporting. I appreciate all the dialogue that we've been given. I appreciate all the support that's been given to us so far. And we definitely shout out all the other growers out there that are doing the thing, pushing the food movement, pushing for food equality, food equity. Make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all have a blessed growing season. And as always, thank you for being Smarter by Nature.